Welcome to a new Daily Top Askreddit video. Today's topic.
What do you think is the biggest concern for most Americans right now? Affordability. Seriously, I have a well-paying job, live frugally, and can barely make ends meet. It's so fucking expensive to do anything but sit at home and breathe. I legit can't figure out how people afford to just eat. That you can lose your job without warning. No notice period where you can get paid while looking for something else. Just getting thrown out of a workplace you've been at for years with your belongings. And that this can lead to losing your right to proper health care because of insurance. They keep firing people at my job and it's heartbreaking because I know how shitty this economy is. Yup, I got let go in March and I have been grinding out interview after interview. I have a final interview this week for a job but I am certain I won't get it. My retirement plan is a, hopefully, swift death in the upcoming civil war. I am done trying. I have no health insurance for the first time in my life. It's scary. I haven't had insurance for most of mine. It's led me to crippling debt and a terrible credit score. All of my debt is medical and student loans. If it helps, I had insurance and I still ended up 100k in debt and a wrecked credit score after a stroke. Apologies if this comes across in a dickish way, but coming from a country with free healthcare including prescriptions, free college and university at world-class institutions, 35 days paid holidays etc., I find it so sad that Americans get completely screwed by the government. The thing is, you could afford all this free stuff too if all your taxes weren't spent on an outrageously huge military that keeps starting wars. Not dickish. Most liberals under 45 believe what you do. The problem is they are handcuffed to liberals greater than 45 and conservatives of any age. Finding a job, fear of losing your shitty job, cost of living. Just another day at the long day factory. You're not kidding. My alarm is set for 3:45 a.m., loudly crying. Getting a job. Everyone says they're hiring but nobody actually hires. Their requirements are completely unrealistic. Nobody with decades of experience is going to choose to work at a Jersey Mike's. A loot of ghost jobs getting posted. What even is the point of ghost jobs? Just harvesting data provided by applicants. The economy. It's like pre-French Revolution. The rich keep getting richer and they flaunt it more. Double standards are getting worse. The poor are suffering. Middle class is destroyed. The bosses perpetuate this system as well. People are pissed. I hope more get angry as well. This is the history of human society. The middle class was a government-subsidized post-war handout to American veterans. It was created in the 50s and died in the 90s when they retired. Our world has been stolen from us by a very small group. There's no excusing what's happened. Not enough people realize there is no more middle class. I peg its ultimate demise to the '08 mortgage meltdown. We all have different algorithms and we're no longer being pulled together with shared values and experiences like we were as late as the mid-2000s. TV shows that the collective watched allowed us to agree on a shared set of cultural values and now everyone watches different things because of streaming, so essentially we've got a situation where we are living in completely different realities, so it's very difficult to agree even on what's real, let alone on the cause of a problem, if it's even a problem at all, nor what's the correct next step for solving a problem. Many of us were never taught basic fact-checking skills, so we're being propagandized at large. This happens on all sides of the political spectrum, the algorithms encourage it, and even folks who do know how to fact-check get lazy and sometimes share misinformation. People are too attached to their egos to publicly admit when they accidentally shared propaganda, so even when people figure it out, they aren't usually interested helping the community at large by correcting the information. So many people have monetized their Facebooks, and with no security whatsoever, that they've unknowingly put their friends, themselves, and their followers at risk from randos who are trying to sow division, and/or scam their contact list. Any engagement at all makes money, and people tend to care more about making money than they do about the bigger picture. The wealth divide is stoking all of this on. Citizens United needs to be overturned. We need ranked choice voting in order to break free of our two-party system. This will create a dynamic where politicians have to speak toward actual issues, not just point fingers at the other side. Wages need to start matching inflation. We need more millennials in positions of power. We have innovation ideas, we've had to problem solve our way out of so many things, and we're more connected to what each generation wants and needs than any other generation. Men need to start standing up to other men. We need more unions and stronger protections for unions. As silly as it may sound, we really do need common cultural experiences and media again. Without any type of media that really connects us, we can't agree on what our values are, and also, we're just so much more disconnected. The last two times I can remember us having shared media experiences was Tiger King and before that Game of Thrones. Both of those were quite a while ago, and they certainly didn't raise our cultural values, but most people watched them specifically to feel included and like part of something. We used to have so much shared music, movies, and television in the 90s and early 2000s, and, as silly as it may seem, it brought us together. We got to connect over that media, and it helped cement a more cohesive value system among the population. Good behavior and hard work are no longer rewarded, so people are much less incentivized to be decent or work hard. Bad behavior and screwing people over has been incentivized, so even if you do your best to be a good person, you're constantly being punished for it while also being incentivized to turn to the dark side. We need insurance companies out of medicine. We have too many middlemen in too many industries here, and it's created a huge issue. We need affordable trauma resources badly. At this point, people are just becoming more and more traumatizing others as they go along in life, and mental health is so inaccessible that trauma has spread like wildfire. People need to feel like it's actually possible to succeed again. If they take the correct steps and work hard, there needs to be a clear path to success. People feel hopeless and helpless, and many folks who took all the right steps are still being screwed over. We need to actually believe that it's possible to succeed again. Can we let this person run the country? This is very kind of you to say, thank you. I'm one paycheck away from being homeless, and I'm terrified that my health issues will advance because I don't have access to medical care. I guess dying young is almost a better eventuality than the uncertainty of aging in this country. You can't exploit people that have options. The whole system is set up on that idea. Being able to live and pay bills. We're reaching a point where basic housing and food absorbs all of our income. If this isn't resolved within a few years, heads will actually roll. American capitalism is propped up as long as the general population gets to have the treats. As soon as that goes away, things will crumble. They take a cookie from our jar every year and hope we won't notice. When the first starved, the rest were fine. When half starved, they looked to sever the hand that stopped feeding. The problem is, right now a lot of the people starving are for some reason blaming their neighbor who is also starving instead of the fatties at the top who are still stuffing their faces. Republicans voted for this. $500 billion a year in tax cuts for the rich, and we pay for the rich corporations' tax reimbursements. I hope people wake up. The authoritarian takeover of our government. The situation in D.C. casts a shadow across the country and is eroding accountability in our institutions, not necessarily motivated politically, but it feels like senior leaders are getting sloppy. In higher ed, there's a dearth of leadership to set a clear direction how to go forward and skillfully navigate federal policy changes. And the legal profession. Oh boy, do future law students have a lot to learn about executive powers and professional conduct. Health insurance. I have a lot of pre-existing conditions. Waiting to read one highly anticipated obit. The perfect Christmas gift that goes with everything. I have a nice bottle of wine just for the occasion. The amount Americans work with no real holiday time. People always talk about how Americans don't travel or don't have passports or haven't seen the world. How the heck are they going to travel when they don't get any paid vacation? In the best scenario, they would get 2 weeks off. If they're married and have kids, they're going to spend 1 week with the paternal parents and their second week with their maternal parents. This will be the case, year after year. 1 week here, the second week there, and no real vacation. The distance required to travel anywhere takes a lot of your limited time as well. I'm good friends with someone who moved to Amsterdam shortly after we graduated college. Their first job out there started with 8 weeks of PTO. They're constantly traveling around the continent and vacationing. Work-life balance looks so fucking incredible. I envy them every day. They tell me they'll never come back to live in the US. At this point, they might have 3 months of paid vacation time a year. I'm currently doing my master's in the Netherlands, coming from the US, and although I haven't entered the workforce yet to experience the awesome PTO policies, life just feels so much more laid back on average. As I walk through my city, I just notice people chilling way more often even during the middle of an average workday compared to my home in the US. When the weather is nice, the city comes alive right at 5 or 6 o'clock because that's when the vast majority of people get off work. Offices are dead, many shops close for 2 days out of the week. I see school-aged kids everywhere doing non-school related things during times I figured they'd be in school. Cafes are bustling with people not in work mode, but having a nice chat with friends over coffee. Laptops aren't clogging tables. People generally aren't in a rush. The work-life balance here permeates everything, and I feel it just by existing. It's such a welcome change versus how stressful my life used to be in the US. There are certain states that allow citizens to propose laws and amendments to their state laws. Do you think that a citizen-started initiative for requiring paid time off would be successful? Not in Florida. Even when they do get passed, they move the goalposts on what got passed and what it takes to pass it. Billionaires in the less than 1% controlling and ruining everyone else's lives, and the idiots that idolize them. The world would be so much better if people would really embrace the fact that they're closer to being homeless than being a billionaire and viewed things worked for changes with that thinking in mind. I know someone who believes, I don't actually want the rich to be taxed for. If I ever get lucky enough to win the lottery or something, I don't want to be having to give that money up. She and multiple people in her family have experienced unexpected tragedies and traumas that left them in very bad situations and having to depend on food stamps and the like to get by. And yet, she cares about billionaires being allowed to hoard their wealth over all the good that could be done if they were properly taxed.